Live. Be live.
Live, yeah.
We live, baby.
We're going to talk about boats because we know so much about boats. Well, there's a couple different kinds of boats. There's fiberglass boats, more materials. They're made from a couple different materials. You got fiberglass boats. You have plastic boats. You got like roto-molded boats and aluminum boats. You have. Do you have steel boat? I guess you have steel boats, like the big
steel ships.
Yep. Yeah, like the big ships and wooden boats. So, what's your favorite material?
I want a rigid inflatable.
Oh. I don't want a rigid inflatable, but I'll tell you what I would like to have. Bless you, Wes.
Thank you.
I would like to have that. It looks like it goes around wraps around your gunnels, and it's an inflatable. It looks like an inflatable, like a Zodiac, but it's just the part that wraps around your gunnels and goes all the way around your boat.
I seen them Zodiacs, boy. They can handle some weather. I'll take them anyway.
That's my high tide right there. It's the only thing I don't like about that boat is how the gunnels are angled down.
What'd you do? Redo it and repaint it and everything?
That is an old picture. It does not look like that now. It's a lot dirtier than that.
Well, I wore this hat for this show.
Ha!
But I'd rather have that right there.
There, that's it.
Upper echelon. That's the roadie snobs. Like if North River were a bicycle, they'd be the roadies. They'd be the guys on the road bikes that gets in everybody's way. Wears all the spandex and stuff.
Hey.
It'd be the mountain bike.
Listen, I tell you, one thing I still don't understand, and we're not talking about boat, actually a barge, is how a solid piece of steel with a concrete pad that weighs tons and tons, and then you can put tons and tons and tons and tons of weight on it, and it still floats. I guess you'd have to really understand water displacement to understand how that happens.
I think you just explained it. It's water displacement.
Same reason they can put them 1,500, 2,000 gallon tanks on the them flat bottom Carolina skiffs.
You know how you're in a swimming pool and how you can take your hands and cup them like that and go down and it goes kabloosh.
Yeah.
Kabloosh. It doesn't want to go down. You have to force it down, and that's the air coming back up. So that's kind of the opposite of water displacement. You know, you have the hole sitting in the water, and it's displacing that water, keeping it from sinking. That was the least scientific. Hey, I got a video of a guy's boat getting hit. You want to see it?
I better know which one it is.
Let me explain this first.
Okay.
So me and Lori, we were going to try to go, which we did go out fishing. We wanted to go offshore, but we couldn't do the video this weekend because of the weather. So me and Lori go down to the marina Friday night, and we're going to go down there and eat some supper. And I said, let's walk down here to the boat, just check sure, make everything's okay, because they put the boat in the water for me. So there's a couple standing there by a sportsman. And this man, he walks away. He walks on down the dock right there. And the lady, she says, listen, she said, would y'all mind hanging out here for a second? And I said, yes, ma'am, what's wrong? And she said, well, that guy over there in that Grady White, she said, he just hit a couple of boats. And she said, we don't know if he's drunk or whatever. She said, my husband's not much of a fighter. So I just wonder if you'd kind of hang out. And I said, yes, ma'am. Yeah, well, so a few minutes later, we was just hanging out. And
you picked the right man, homeboy.
So, and he was an elderly man. He got off the boat. Another guy gets off. Her husband got off, walked back over there. And it turns out he was not drunk. He was just an elderly guy. He didn't know how to handle the boat. We had an incoming tide. And if I had to guess, I would say that wind was blowing 15, 17 knots. And you know where my boat stays parked, Gerald, when y'all see the video, it was incoming tide and the wind blowing the same way the tide's blowing. So he just got kind of discombobulated there. And then he's in a walk around. He's actually in the same kind of boat that I just sold. He's about 70 years old. and you got that wind and current. He just couldn't handle the boat, and he just got confused, But anyway, DNR came out there. I talked to the guy, and then people was already calling me Sunday morning, wanting to know if that was my boat, and he told me, he said, Bud, he said, listen, he said, as long as it ain't too much, he said, I will, I'll just write you a check or whatever you think it is now. And I said, well, they done called the DNR out here. So DNR came out there, looked at my boat, looked at the other boat. And he said, but I don't know. He said, it just depends on who you get to come look at it. He said, you might find somebody to fix it for $500 or $600. You might find somebody that says this will be $2,000. He said, I don't know. So I've got a guy that he's actually going down tomorrow. He called me today. He's going to get in there and give me an estimate on fixing it. But there again, it was, hey, Todd Asher, it was just an accident, and I think that video's already went viral. It was on North Carolina offshore fishing. And he was just an elderly guy, and I commented on there at the end of the day, he's an old man. And if I keep fishing one day, just like us, we're going to be old, and we just probably not going to want to throw in the towel yet or won't help, because I did hear that some people offered to help him, and he said, no, he didn't need it. He would get it. That's just what I heard. Yeah. But so that's where it's at. But if you want to, JR, go ahead and play the video.
Yeah, shit happens,
Yeah. It's
here's the video of Wes's. I don't know if it shows your boat getting hit or not. You can just
barely see him bump it. His rub rail got my starboard side right there and just kind of put a mark into it. It wasn't any major damage, but
Well, after Wes's story, it's been our guys. See ya.
Once upon a time, the end. All right, here we go. Here's the video of the old guy that came in the Hammerhead boat out of Ocean Isle and hit at least a couple guys' boats. And the boat got away from him. He was in the wind. He got discombobulated.
Well, I will say one of the guys on the North Carolina offshore posted. He said, I sold him that boat a couple of months ago and he repowered it. And he said, not saying this in a bad way, but I wish he would take my damn name off of that boat because everybody was calling him, thought that he was the one hitting boats.
Oh, man. All right, here we go. Action.
Okay, he's done hit this boat one time. He's on it right now. He's on it right now. He's all over. He's done about hit that boat one time.
Alright, hold on.
He's done, look. He's all over that boat right now.
We're calling.
Yeah, call 911. Call 911. He's all over that boat. He's done hit it one other time before. This man right here, he almost hit that man's boat. Look, he's about to hit somebody else. I don't know if this dude is drunk or what. Tell me you're at Cricket Cove Marina. That's fucked up.
Cricket Cove Marina. I don't. It's Snooky's waterfront as well.
Somebody tell him the situation.
We got a guy. We don't know if he's drunk. We don't know. He's driving a boat actually, but he's right here in the marina at Cricket Cove Marina.
There we go. He's done hit that boat one time. I think,
and then there was another comment that said it sounded like the guy doing the video was drunk.
I did. Or he was either drunk or from South Carolina.
No, he was lit. No, he's actually from Calabash.
That's how y'all South Carolina boys talk. He done hit that boat one time.
And hey, and what's his name? Josh Skinner. He must be on that page because Josh Skinner said, "Oh fuck," he said, "That's a Savannah River chain gang boat, homeboy. Somebody's in trouble."
Dang.
I mean, if you ever get in the tide with the wind, once you get what happened, it looked to me like he got over too close and he got nervous and started doing the old whiskey throttle. Why? I mean, yeah.
I mean, come in slow. Just come in slow, and I guess if you're old, it ain't like you can come off the throttle, get away from the helm, and actually run out there and catch yourself on someone's boat like we could if we were to mess up in that situation. But yeah,
It's easy to do.
Well,
Yeah,
hey guys, listen, right quick. I want to say one more thing. While Todd's on here, I actually called Todd Asher yesterday, or day before yesterday. Anyway, I called Todd to see if he wanted to go fishing with me this weekend offshore because JR had to cancel because JR is having his daughter's Sweet 16 birthday party this weekend. So I just called Todd out of the blue, and he told me that, I think Todd's mother still lives in Tennessee. Todd's from Tennessee. I meant from Kentucky. I'm sorry. His mother's from Kentucky, still lives up there. Todd's still got a lot of friends up there and I'm sure everybody knows. And if you don't, Kentucky just had literally one of the worst floods in the state's history. And it was just a freak thing. I think these people went to bed that night, and 5 hours later, they had 13 inches of rain, and they're getting up on their roofs because they're
getting up on their roofs. Yeah.
And I think a friend of Todd's wife, Stephanie, she's the lady that lost her 4 children. They got swept away by the current off of a roof. But anyway, me and Todd is going to take some stuff up there Friday, be there Saturday. We're going to actually distribute some stuff. I'll just go ahead and say that I know Drew Rankin donated $400. Bobby Parker gave me $500 tonight at Striper King's meeting. Eric Whitfield donated $100. Me and Lori's going to get $500 of our money. David Stake has he went to the grocery store last night. Him and his wife were amazing. They bought a bunch of cleaning. David Stake is the manager at Marine Max. He's actually T's boss man, I think, or works with T or something. But anyway, they spent a lot of money last night on cleaning stuff, non-perishable food. So that's how my weekend's going to be. So anybody that's watching this, if y'all would like to donate some money, it don't matter if it's. Listen, I had a guy at the restaurant. Some people at Gus's this morning donated some money, and there was a elderly guy sitting over there, and I don't even know his name. I see him come in the restaurant every now and then. He don't look like he has a lot, but he gave me $10. So anything that anybody wants to donate, you can get in touch with me. Hit me up on Messenger, and I'll promise you, every penny that me and Todd get will go. Todd was talking about it today, so instead of we're not just going to drop it off at some distribution center. We're going to go up around where Todd's mom lives, and some of these people that we know needs it. That's who's going to get this stuff. Like Todd said, we could take it to a dealership. A lot of the car dealerships or some of these places, at distribution places. But, hell, like Todd said, that stuff could set up there for months and months and months. And so we want to put the stuff in people's hands that we know needs it. So anybody that would like to donate to that, just let me know. That would be awesome. So it's all y'all's, fellas.
That's great, Wes. That's a great thing you guys are doing. Shout out to Drew.
Yeah.
Drew got a new airboat.
Yeah, he called me
Yeah,
yesterday.
airboat.
Said he went down to Florida and got it.
Oh, Drew.
There's a boat.
Big wave.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I think they were trying to pick at me about, because I bought a Carolina Skiff, but there again, for y'all that don't know, my boat is not a damn Carolina Skiff. It's probably the furthest thing from a skiff. It's just made by the same company that makes Carolina Skiff, which I think.
Now, wait a minute now. Whoa, pump the brakes.
Okay.
Is your boat not a Carolina Skiff?
It's made by the people that make Carolina Skiff. It is not a skiff.
Well, no, it's not a skiff, but
That's what I just said.
It's a Carolina Skiff, though. Carolina Skiff's the brand.
A Carolina Skiff is a flat bottom boat that will knock your fucking brains out. That's a Carolina Skiff.
Yeah, but what does your boat say on the side? What's the brand name of your boat?
Okay, let me back up. Now, listen close, Grasshopper.
It's a Carolina Skiff Sea Chaser.
It's made by the same people that make Carolina Skiff. It's a Sea Chaser. It's not.
Wait a minute, Wes. Wait a minute. That's not correct. It's a Carolina Skiff Sea Chaser. You have Carolina Skiff DLX, Carolina Skiff DLV, Carolina Skiff J, whatever. Those little the skinny.
JR,
boats.
that's exactly what I said, buddy. I said it's made by the same people, but it's not a Carolina Skiff. It don't have a flat bottom. It's not
a skiff,
like
but it's
not a flat bottom
confusing because Carolina Skiff's the brand.
Yeah, that's who makes it.
So it is a Carolina Skiff. It's not a skiff.
Exactly.
But the Carolina Skiff is like if the brand was
12-foot
John boat. If that was the brand name, then your boat would be a 12-foot John boat.
Exactly. But it's not a Carolina Skiff. A Carolina Skiff is what Patrick Miller has. A Carolina Skiff is what Anthony.
But it
Johnson
is a Carolina Skiff. What, Scott, help me out.
Help me out here, Scott.
Wes got a Carolina Skiff Sea Chaser.
It's like a Carolina Skiff is like Sea Art. I mean, that's the name brand, but they make.
Yeah.
It's not a skiff, but it's made by Carolina Skiff.
It's made by. That's what I said. It's made by.
Oh, I think that's what JR is trying to say. It is a Carolina Skiff, but it's not a skiff. But it
don't have a skiff hull.
Right.
It doesn't have a DLX hull or DLD hull.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's not a skiff. It's just made by the people that make.
No, you're right. Skiff. There you go. Bingo.
That's what I said three times.
No, you kept saying it's not a Carolina Skiff.
It's not. It's made by the people that. It's not a skiff. Let me back up. Then it's not a skiff. It's made by the people that make Carolina skiff.
There you go. I got it. You got it. You nailed it.
So is it a skiff?
Yeah. But anyway, no. It's a very that boat, Scott. It really surprised me the way it performs out there.
Surprised me too.
I'm pretty sure everybody knows it's not a skiff, Russ.
Well, that just upsets
It's
me.
got twins, bro. That's the boat handles extremely well. You know, it's 24 foot. It's got twins, and I love the fact. You know, Wes, you sold me on the whole walk around thing. I was never a walk around fan ever, and then you got that Grady. And it's like right around the time that the whole Ford console movement happened. And once the Ford console movement started, you know, once it got here, then the walk-arounds got a lot more popular all of a sudden because they're by nature forward consoles. So you have all that extra room in the back. In the back, right. So, yeah, walk-arounds are where it's at now, man. It's awesome.
Well,
Plus, you got a place to sleep.
When I first brought it down to Little River, well, actually, I went down there to look at the marina before I took the boat down there. We just made a trip down there to check things out, and I told her, I said, we might be a little bit out of place out here, so we're gonna have the only damn cuddy cabin boat down here, and I bet there's probably 35 or 40 at that marina. I mean, they're just
really?
Yeah.
Oh, just cuddies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any other Sea Chasers?
No, I think I've got the only one that I've seen, unless there might be one in there in dry storage.
I haven't really paid attention, but now that you've gotten one, maybe I'll start seeing them. But I've never really seen a lot of Sea Chasers or any Sea Chasers really that I can think of. Do you know anybody that has a Sea Chaser?
I don't. Do you, Scott? Have you ever seen one?
I don't pay attention unless I own one.
I remember seeing like on the website on Carolina Skiffs web. I was looking at some Carolina Skiffs a while back, and I remember seeing the Sea Chaser.
Do they still make the Sea Chaser?
I don't think so.
I think they quit making them in what, JR, 2012 or 2014?
Oh, was it that long ago? I don't know. I don't have. That's worth a Google.
But that boat is solid, Scott. I mean, listen, when we were going to the towers, I don't know if you remember seeing the video where JR did the drone footage, you know, that little short clip where he put my name in it. You know, we were 2.5 footers running 36 miles an hour, you know, just busting them. You find anything, JR?
Well, no, I am not. I mean, there's actually a brand called Sea Chaser, and let's see. I think maybe they might be a brand all of their own now called Sea Chaser. I don't know. I think no, that's just a completely different brand altogether. I'm not finding anything on it.
What's the most important thing you look for in a boat? Bed rise?
Transom.
It depends.
I know.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, if I'm going to be an offshore fisherman, then I mean, yeah, dead rice is definitely going to be probably my number one thing. Dead rise, freeboard. really the freeboard over the dead rise actually, because you want to have a deep hull. I mean the angle in which the keel meets the gunnel is important, but you want a deep hull that because it's going to be that much harder to dip your bow. Your sides are going to be higher. You're going to be farther up off the water. I think
I think most people watching are probably freshwater. So I mean,
yeah, space.
What would you look for space? So why not get a pontoon?
Well, pontoons are not hydrodynamic at all. First of all, they're not even a true hull, and they're just a couple tunes with a piece of plywood on them, and they don't handle rough. Even in a lake, a pontoon could get very dangerous. They're slow.
They're pretty stable, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they're stable as an aircraft carrier. When you're setting steel on some still water, but went with Chad to Tennessee, and we had the boat loaded down with 4, 5, 6 batteries, 3 or 4 grown men, a 30-gallon super bait tank up in front of the console, and we hit just the tiniest little wake, and it submarined us. Like it shot down into the water, and I'm talking the water come all the way up to the console over half the length of the pontoon. I thought we were going all the way under, just because we were just over. We didn't have the weight distribution. You got to be careful with weight distribution when it comes to a pontoon. You don't have a hull there to keep the water displaced. It's so easy to just nosedive them.
We've all seen a lot of videos of people sitting on the front of them.
Mm-hmm. But, they're fun for what they are. They have their purpose. But I don't know. I think it's going to be hard to beat a Carolina Skiff, DLV or DLX, when it comes to freshwater fishing. I mean, it's kind of a utility boat. It's nothing fancy. It's just a hull with glass sprayed on it and painted with a deck set in it, a deck up front and a deck in the back set down in it, and a console screwed down into the middle of it. And that's it. And, a motor on the transom. And it's just no frills. You're not going to have a bunch of cup holders. You're not going to have a bunch of the fancy stuff.
Probably one of the most popular fishing boats there is, like in the last 15 years.
Yeah. And, everybody always wanted, used to a wide John boat was kind of hard to come by. If, you could look for the low roughnecks, the Alumacrafts, the Lunds, the Duracrafts, there's a million different brands, Landau, Landbow, however you say that.
Lando.
There's a million different brands of aluminum boats, but they're all like 1432s, 1436s, 1442s, 1542s, 1648s.
When I first started tournament fishing, and to this day, they're one of the best. StarCraft. I mean, StarCraft was what everybody wanted. The double windshield.
Yep.
Fishmaster.
I saw a StarCraft yesterday. I went with Chad. He found 4 Abu 5500s C3s on 4 brand new Tsunami tough tip white rods with the X-Wrap handles and everything. All 4 of them spooled with new line for $200. So we went and picked them up in Salisbury, and the guy that we got them from had a 1963 StarCraft, and he had brand new fish bite rod holders all the way around it, Ulterra trolling motor, like 12 brand new Mad Cats rods, and like he had a super bait tank, had it rigged up with all modern stuff, modern graph, and it's a 1963. I mean, if that tells you anything,
there's a few things I heard about StarCraft. One was apparently aluminum, and I don't know, I've never looked it up, but aluminum with the pressure treated wood has some kind of reaction.
Yeah.
And
electrolysis.
There's been a few where you could actually poke your finger through the hull of them after years. And transoms, a lot of guys, if you look, they'll have the threaded rod coming through their transoms to hold the transom tight.
Yeah.
And their wood floor. But I mean, they're great boats.
Yeah. I mean, you can rip the floor out of them. You can replace the stringers, and you can go diamond plate on your floor. The transoms, there's nothing to them. I mean, a lot of guys will just actually just take an old 2x6, and that's their transom.
One buddy of mine, you know him, but he had one, a 19 foot, I think it was Fishmaster or whatever. He was running up shallow.
Patrick Miller.
Yeah,
I was going to buy. Listen, I was going to buy that boat from Patrick. I went to the bank, got the money, had the money in my hand, was leaving the bank. He called me. He said, "Wes, another guy just pulled up and offered him whatever it was because he's going to sell me to $1,000 less what he's asking for it." And I said, "Let me guess, you sold it, didn't you?" He said, "That son of a bitch is gone."
yeah, he could actually put his fingers through the hole of the
Oh,
boat.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, he
Through
didn't
the
tell me
hole?
that. Thank you.
Well, he didn't know you that well back then, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Daniel Skipper, Blazer Bay is the business. Blazer Bay is nice.
I do.
One thing I
believe
noticed
so, too.
about Skipper's boat is, I mean, the floor. Like when you,
It's solid.
yeah, when you banged your foot on the floor, it was like, I mean, it wasn't no hollow sounding boat. It was solid.
But Carolina Skiffs the same way.
No, it ain't.
Hey, every skiff I've ever been in's got a solid ass floor in it.
Oh, hell no. Skipper's old skiff, the damn center console is about to fall off that damn thing.
Anthony Finley's boat, when I was walking around in it was like walking on cement. Patrick Miller's floor is like walking on cement.
Yeah, Alan's got a 2019, I think, Carolina skiff, and yeah, it's floor's pretty doggone solid in it, but it's a brand new boat, so.
But like Skipper's old skiff, I'd have to wear a kidney belt to riding with. I always say Carolina Skiff's the worst riding boat and the best fishing boat. Once you get somewhere and start trolling,
yeah,
or anchored up, one of the best boats you can have. But man,
Yeah,
I
you're going to
remember
sacrifice
we
the
went
ride.
to a tournament at Murray, and Patrick ran from the lower end of the, and it got rough on Murray, and he got back, and he went in his truck or something. He had a whole nother set of clothes. He was dripping wet like it had been storming, just taking splash.
Overspray. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's worth it though. If because most of the time you're not traveling very far. I mean,
And there's no other boat that size that can get in that skinny of water either.
right. Yeah. Because they're not drafting much water at all. Maybe
what, 3 or 4 inches.
probably more than that. I would guess 8 inches, maybe.
That's why when everybody says the best boat, there's no best boat. You buy a boat on what you do the most.
Yeah.
Well, on a lake, even a big lake, I mean, you can go to dam in what? An hour? On most lakes. I don't know. Y'all South Carolina lakes are a lot bigger than our lakes. Our biggest lake ain't but 30,000 acres. So, I mean, all the boat ramps on a lake, you're normally going to put in relatively close to where you're going to fish. And it's just worth it. I mean, to have a rough ride, going to where you're fishing in order to have all that room once you get there.
Well, the first skiff I ever rode on, I was on Anthony Finley's, and we were on the backside of Andersonville Island, and a little storm came up. And I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, when we got back to the boat ramp, I told him, I said, "Dude, I'd take this son of a bitch back and get every fucking nickel of my money." That shit was rattling and beating me to death. And the next morning, I had to go to my chiropractor.
You better make sure that trolling motor's bolted down tight.
Yeah, I mean,
with the backer plate.
And Patrick swears up and down his ride's like a Cadillac.
I mean, everything you give, I mean, if you want this, you lose this with the boat. There's no perfect boat.
JR, we got a Facebook user on here. I don't know if it's somebody from my
I think it's everybody that gets on the Real Fisherman page comes up like that. I think if they get on JR's page, you'll get their name because maybe they're not friends.
Right. Yeah.
What's it say? I can take my C Pro anywhere. Skiff can go and ride a hell of a lot.
Better.
John Mathena can vouch.
Yeah. I mean
there
are boats that aren't flat that doesn't draft much.
Yeah, but it's not a skiff. C Pro's an awesome boat. I've fished in the C Pro bunch. I got a buddy that owns one, and it does ride better. But
they say a lot. A lot of the skiffs will actually take on some water in their foam and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, all boats do. All foam boats will take on water. I gutted my John boat and cut the foam out of it. It weighed 200 pounds.
Oh God, really?
I mean,
Wow.
it's
Well, you got a lot of people don't account for condensation. When boats condensate, when they're encapsulated like that with foam, that foam's going to hold water. You're not going to stop it.
I
If
hate
it's
foam.
in the
I
water,
hate
you're not going to stop it.
I hate foam. I mean, foam filled is stupid to me. It's
What is your 1860, Scott? What kind of brand boat is that?
oh
All
my
weld?
John boat. It's a Lumacraft
Is
or
it
a
aluminum?
Lumaweld. I'm sorry, a
Lumaweld.
Lumaweld. Yeah, it had foam under the back seat, or what they call a back bench.
The bench.
I
yeah.
cut a hole in it because I didn't have any storage, so I cut a hole in that bench to put a door in for storage. And when I got in there, the foam was just drenched, saturated from top to the bottom.
Really?
So it wouldn't have floated a damn thing. And I think most foam-filled boats, once they get 10, 11 years old, they're going to be the same way.
Yeah.
If you go to YouTube and look at people redoing boats, I mean, they pull the foam out of these boats. They're all saturated.
I wonder if your nicer boats like your Boston Whalers. I wonder if they're the same as far as the foam taking on water.
Grady Whites, all your Grady Whites are foam filled.
I mean,
Yeah, I
I
wonder
know,
if those type boats are. I mean, I
I
think
know they
those-
say they put like a solid something foam in there that won't absorb water, but I've yet to see it.
yeah, closed cell foam. Or
Both
something.
say, yeah. But I mean, I don't know.
This is my theory on why, because Kevin Wallace said most guys at Santee use pontoons or tritoons. This is my theory on why that is.
Room.
Well, yeah, of course, room is definitely up there. But I think that the guys use them is because they're in the business of taking clients fishing, and you can get more clients, you can get more fish, you can get more money. It's all about business.
More comfortable.
Well, no, not just that. I can tell you the main reason the main reason Pete Hilliard told me this, because I asked him, because he's one of the reasons I bought my first pontoon.
Trolling.
He said if you fish in Santee, 99% of the people that fish Santee use a technique called drifting. A pontoon boat, when you've got it sideways, it's drifting with the wind. Most of the time, your displacement in the water is even, so your boat's going to stay even.
But I know that's
Right.
the last lake, except for maybe Wheeler, that I would want to get stuck on in a pontoon.
Yeah. But that's why they
You
use
know what's
pontoons down
weird
there.
is another tactic that those guys use down there is they troll backwards. It's
Yeah.
the weirdest thing, and like they all do it. And Santee's the only place I know that they actually do that.
Well, a lot of people back
I'll do that
troll.
in Tennessee.
Yeah, they back troll rivers in Tennessee.
I'll tell you, Todd.
Just all you gotta do is keep the boat straight. I mean, you don't have to guide the rear end. You just keeping the front end in line.
Oh,
I went up above 61 one day and I called Todd. I said, dude, there's no way in the hell I can fish this. He said, what are you talking about? I said, man, this current's running 12 miles an hour. He said, no. He said, you're supposed to reverse drift, reverse troll it. And I said, do what? He said, face your motor up toward the current, use your trolling motor, set your speed, and then just keep the front of the boat. That's a whole lot harder, but it also will let you cover more ground and more water instead, as far as like if you're trolling, let's say like what you got, Scott, 4 or 5 mile an hour, just hypothetically speaking, you're trolling down the river.
15 to 20 in my video.
Yeah, you're going to have to run at least 5 or 6 just to keep your boards out. But if you're reverse trolling, you can move a lot slower. You can control your speed. You can be in 5 or 6 mile an hour current and still troll at 1 mile an hour. Just use your trolling motor, depending on how good your batteries are. But I tried that and it does work. But when you by yourself, it is hell. Because if you get a fish on,
You can't do it by yourself.
you can't. I tried it and I said, yes, it works. It's cool. But if I get a
that's too
fish on,
much
what am I going to do?
work. I just want to anchor up and I want to anchor up and throw cut bait. Like that's all I want to do.
Yeah, that time I took JR to one of our lakes down here, I pulled up under the bridge and I was getting ready to put boards out. And he's like, you ain't going to cut bait? I said, no, I was going to pull. He's like, strike when the iron's hot. We need to cut bait. And I'm like, okay.
Well, no, you left out a key part of that story and that is the fact that the day before that you had just caught fish on anchor with cut bait.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get down there and he's like hooking boards up. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, we're getting ready to troll. I said, well, you just caught fish yesterday on anchor. And he's like, well, yeah. I was like, well, why would you change that?
He ain't caught shit. Heather caught them fish. Hey, I see Brian, and we're talking about boats. I see Brian Snipes on here. Listen, Brian Snipes is an amazing craftsman when it comes to a boat. Brian made my cabin on that Sea Ark, and I've been following him on Facebook. And this boat that he's in the middle of the building now, that Starcraft, is amazing, dude. I mean, it looks better than what it came from the factory.
Brian Snipes is a badass.
Yeah, when it comes to building a boat, he's the man.
Well, I tell you, I started welding aluminum, and anybody that can weld aluminum and make it strong and pretty, they're a hell of a welder.
Yeah, because that's
I can weld aluminum enough to get by when I was working at Pride Mechanical, but you got to have almost 3 times the heat that you do to weld stainless.
Well, I welded my when I moved my console in my John boat, I welded some steps in, welded the console in and everything. And I mean,
that's why you keep that thing covered up. Don't
it's
let
a learning experience.
You wait till I come over to your house next time.
Oh no, it's pretty now, but it took me about 12 times as long as it would somebody that knew what they were doing to do it.
No, hey, it's pretty because he covered that shit up with 3 cans of spray paint.
No, a grinder will
yeah.
fix any bad weld.
That's right. Yeah.
Is that true, Brian? Do you use a grinder a lot?
Hey, I so bad I'd hit it with a hammer to make sure it was strong, and then I'd grind it down. We were good.
Josh O'Shields, Josh, I don't know if I agree with that or not, but Josh says he'd take his tri-tune over any boat in rough water on a lake. Not me.
Well, I've only been on a couple pontoons in my life. My buddy's got a 2012 with extremely low hours. It's practically brand new, but it's a tracker, the whatever that tracker is. I think it's like 20 foot. And when you get it loaded down, if you better have that weight distributed right, because
everybody's favorite boat is the one they own. Everybody's favorite rod and reel is the one they bought and they got. I mean, that's just human nature.
Yeah.
But some of these tri-tunes, man, they got the 150s on them, 200s. I mean,
I don't want to. I mean, I've been in them on Santee. I don't. There's a lot of boats that ride. I mean, there might not be a lot of boats that fish better and ride, but there's plenty of boats that ride better.
Yeah. They do got room.
I mean, they fish great.
That room is nice. That room is nice. I ain't gonna lie.
Put a couch and a grill and 120 quart cooler.
The only thing I never did like about this Carolina skiff was the way the sides flex. Every one I've ever been in, when you're running down the lake.
Yeah.
You ever notice how the sides?
The sides will be.
Yeah, they're
especially on the longer ones.
Designed to do that, or if he's
now on the elites. They don't do that because they're double walled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, an Elite's got a little bit deeper V to it too, don't it? It's more of a.
Elite's a nice boat. They ride pretty damn good for a skiff.
Mm-hmm.
But they got a lot of bullshit, fancy shit in there you don't need to. They got padded front seats and all that crap.
When I first started buying boats, my first thing I look at, and I don't know if y'all can, anybody else is like this, but my first thing was, where can I put a bait tank? Or where am I going to put my bait tank? Will it be better to put it up here? Will it be better to put it in the back? Do I need to take the lean post out? You realize how many fucking seats I took out of boats just to have a bait tank? And then say, no, I'm going to set on my bait tank. So then you put all these mounts down. And after about 3 trips of sitting on that hard-ass bait tank, you'd be like, nah, this shit ain't working.
I know. Well, my buddy.
Brian, you're in the chain gang? Cuss somebody out.
I didn't know he was in the chain gang either.
Damn. I'm trying to get that damn page going. I'm about to delete everybody but 50 people. Start over.
You don't even
I
want to
would.
get me started on what I think about that page.
I'll put your shirt on.
What I think about that page.
I'll put your shirt on. Shut the hell up.
No, you mean my hoodie, my hoolie. My grandson calls it a hoolie. When I showed him, when I had them hoodies made, I said, "Come here, Jags. Let me show you a hoodie." And he went in there. I heard him telling his sister. He says, "Look what Papa made. He got me a hoolie." He calls him a hoolie.
Caleb, you can't fish with me. I got one rule. I got to be the prettiest guy in the boat.
Damn, Scott, you don't make enough money to buy a Sea Ark?
No. If I had the money, I'd own about 7 boats. And then I still would want one more.
Damn. But, it's like you said, though, everybody, you buy a boat to do what you want it to do. Hell, I bought 15 boats. And
Well, it's like my little flats boat. What do you need another boat for? Well, I can't. I mean, it's like a little bass boat, and it drafts like 8 inches of water. I can go in the back of the creeks, tide coming out. I can launch it. You fish out the front and back, throw a cast net. All that stuff you can't do with the North River. I mean, impossible to fish backwater South Carolina, low country with the North River. So,
we
and
also
I love them both for their purpose.
And I can't take a sea chaser up the Caney. Well, I don't know. I guess I could if I wanted to.
You take whatever you want up there. Don't mean you're going to come back with it.
Yeah.
Kevin Blue took a Sea Pro all the way up to the dam.
Hell, Chris Ayotte took the doghouse up there. I would have never took a boat that big in the Caney.
But they were flowing some shitload of water that year. Everybody was up there.
Yeah, but when you buy a boat, I guess I'd buy a boat because I like the way it looked, and I thought it was going to fish good, and I'd be like, well, no, I'm going to get a bigger boat, and then no, I want to do this with this boat, and I want to do that with that boat, and then I had a cabin put on a boat and kept it a year and sold the damn thing, and then I bought a Grady White and spent $1,500 on a fucking tower and got 2 of my best friends to come help me put it on. One showed up after the work was done. Then I had JC Crowder to come splice the cable for me and got all that shit on, used the boat one time and sold the damn thing.
What's up, Rob?
So,
yeah. I mean, I got my trophy, and then I have a high tide, which is a little 14-foot, just a little utility boat. I love that thing. I need to start using it. And then I got a kayak, and I got a couple little outboards I need to find something to put on. I got a little 15 horsepower Evinrude that runs like a top. I need to find some. I thought about putting the dang thing on my kayak, but that'd be scary.
I miss my old white center console. I do, kind of like your trophy, but not that drives.
Right.
I mean, I love that boat. I like a center console. I like to be able to stand up and drive. I feel like I got the whole picture when I'm standing.
One thing I don't like about my boat is it's not good for filming. Y'all know I'm a filmmaker. I'm a filmmaker. It's not good for filming. Now, y'all's boats especially your boat, Scott, and your old Sea Ark. I'm not sure about the Sea Chaser. I hadn't been on it enough, but how y'all have the cabins, that's excellent for filming. I mean, it's like you got a little house,
But like my white center console, it was old 2-stroke Yamaha. And like when I would come into a dock with that thing, I'd come in at 15, 20 and throw it sideways like Captain Ron.
Yes, sir. I
mean, it's nice not to have a pretty boat.
It is. There's a big difference between a 5, 10, even $15,000 boat and a $80, $90, $100,000 boat.
I can't. If I bang my boat up, I got to come home and I'll be in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, it's like having a nice car. You go to the grocery store, you got to park far away. I mean, it's sometimes it's just nice having something that's got everything that the nice ones have, but you ain't got to worry as much about it. You can just that's what I like about my boat. My boat, I recently found out that my boat's not actually green. That's a wrap. I have a wrap on my boat.
Oh, really?
That's a wrap. My boat's completely white.
Well, man, that thing held up good, didn't it?
It did, and I am, I bang it up. I don't ever use fenders. I do not keep fenders on my boat. I just let it bang on the dock.
I
I
don't
don't care.
even use fenders on my boat.
And it's
I'm
scuffed
too
up.
lazy.
It's scuffed up like bad, but it's just the
The
wrap.
fishing boat. It's a
Yeah.
fishing boat.
That's right. It's
Like
still
my
pretty.
John boat, I'll take a rope and tie to the front when I'm by myself, and I just launch it and let the rope go out.
Yeah.
Let the boat go out, and then I'll pull out, and then I just grab the rope and pull it right up on the concrete ramp, and then
Oh,
jump in
really?
and go. It's like,
I do the exact same thing with my boat, except I don't pull it up on the concrete ramp.
well, no, you got a lightweight fiberglass softy boat.
Uh-huh.
You got a Tiger Woods of boats.
Now
fiberglass.
I have a high tide they're built in Georgetown, South Carolina, and now you want to talk about that boat would give Carolina Skiff a run for the money. They make a very tough boat. I don't know when it comes to the toughness of a fiberglass boat, because there's different amounts of like polyethylene and there's different amounts of glass in fiberglass boats. And your more expensive boats will tend to have more glass, and they'll have a better gel coat. They're just much better quality than a lot of your cheaper fiberglass boats. And the high tide is I don't know how they built that boat, but man, it's a stump jumper. Like I've taken that thing up the up Rhodhius, and it's about like the Caney. And there are places if they're not running enough water, like you're running aground, you have to get speed up, and you're skating across gravel, you're hitting stumps. And I have hit so much stuff in that boat, and it just keeps on. I mean, it's just little nicks and gashes all in it. And you can tell it's not anywhere close to compromising the integrity of the hull.
Well, that's like my little John boat, my 18-footer. It's welded. It's not riveted.
Yeah.
I can fish all day in it, and it's bone dry. It's the only boat I own that will not take.
Oh, really? The jet boat
6
is
times 0 water. 0.
Wow.
But it's been beat up, but it's still.
My old boat takes on 0 water. Believe it or not, my old trophy, not the high tide. I'm talking about my big boat.
Yeah,
my big boat
my
takes
angler
on
will
0
take on
water.
good. I'll tell you a quick story. I'm bad about never pulling my plug out of my boats. Like I never did. And I had the angler. We were fishing tournaments, and then I was pre-fishing, so I was in the water twice a week. And me and Heather fished a tournament at Murray, and we had to take off for weigh-in. And a little 2-stroke, it jumps up on plane quick. Even if it's a 150, it still jump up. I hit it, and that thing goes, whoa.
Oh yeah, that's a telltale.
And then it goes up on plane, and I get back to the boat ramp. I put it on the trailer, and I pull the plug, and it drains water for about 35 minutes. I used to flip the bilge on when I would run, but I never paid attention that the bilge probably hadn't been working in several weeks. It probably had 1,000 gallons of water in the bottom of it.
The Josh, when it comes to my friend's pontoon, I don't feel like it should have done the submarine in Tennessee that time. I think I've heard that sometimes these tunes can get water in them, whether it be condensation or whatever. And I've actually heard of guys drilling holes and installing drain plugs on them just for that. So I'm thinking his tunes may have water in them. I've mentioned it to him, but we really don't know how to test to see. I mean, I guess you could get somebody out there and you could just like slam on brakes while it's on the trailer and see if you can hear it sloshing or something. But
well, Josh is a big bourbon drinker, so he's really drinking at night if he's gonna put his bait tank on the front.
Damn.
76 Sea Sprite Bass
Sea
Charger.
Sprite Bass Charger.
I bet it is built like a tank. I bet that thing's got 1-inch plywood all the way. I bet just the plywood weighs 1,500 pounds.
It's probably I've never heard of a Sea Sprite Bass
There's
Charger.
so many different brand of boats. My first boat was a 19-foot bow rider walk-through windshield fun boat called a Maverick. It's a 19-foot fiberglass. And eventually, when I first got it, it was actually kind of nice. And then it wasn't long after that, I was using cement 8-inch center blocks for anchors. And so the carpet was jacked up bad from the center blocks. And I ended up calling it the Jed Clampett because I took 3/8 rod holder drift masters and drilled holes in my gunnels and just screwed the drift master straight into my fiberglass gunnel. I was 19. I was like, there was no YouTube. I didn't know what to do.
You know what's a great boat that I don't even think they make them anymore? I guess because they're not pretty, but it's tri-hulls.
Man, I've always had a crush on the old. I got an old boat in my backyard. It was designed by Richard Cole. Whalecraft made it. They brought in Richard Cole, which is some famous designer, and he designed this boat called an air slot. And Whalecraft made this thing for like, I don't know, 2-3 years, I think. And they had to quit making it because it was costing them too much money to make it. But it's kind of a cool hull because it's a tri-hull, except you know how on a tri-hull, the holes, the three holes are all one piece, how the outer kind of comes in and then goes down into the middle. You know how? Well, on this boat, it actually has 3 separate holes. It's got a little hole here, big hole in the center, and a little hole here. And it's the coolest thing. A guy gave me that boat, and there's a tree growing out of it right now.
The only disadvantage is the same thing with what's the big offshore boats that eat waves like nothing? The
catamaran.
Catamaran. You lose a lot of you lose a lot of floor space with tri-hulls.
Hey, JR, you got Josh O'Seals upset. He said tune size does matter. He said he had more freeboard than you do. Could you have freeboard on a pontoon?
I mean, I don't know if you'd call it that.
Yeah, he blows on that creek anymore.
Don't be talking about Josh O'Seals.
Next time I go to CT, come sit on the front of my bait tank, see if you can submarine it. It won't happen, boy. It won't happen. Tell him.
Y'all got Josh tore up, boy.
Yeah, front anchor that tri-tune in the canal.
We know how to flame Josh
submarine.
Better yet, take it out of Little River Inlet on an incoming tide. See how much freeboard you got.
Yeah, with some 3 to 5s with about 4 seconds.
I see a lot of pontoons going out of the East Pass at Destin. I mean, they're getting beat up, but they'll go them crazy. They'll rent them damn things and go out.
Mm.
I mean,
hey, the first thing Bobby Lovingood told me when we were running my boat down there in the inlet, in the intercoastal, he said, Wes, he said, the best piece of advice I can give you down here, when you see any of these boats that says rental on it, he said, stay as far the fucking away from them as you can.
That's good advice.
He said, they don't know what port or starboard is. He said, these motherfuckers will pass you on the port side.
Well, you've seen Crab Island at Destin? It's a big sandbar.
Oh yeah.
And depending on the tide, everybody front anchors. So if you go in and you got 150 boats with their ass facing the bridge, and then the rentals that come in and face the bridge and drop an anchor, the tide will spin them into 3 or 4 boats because the boats, it's like a river, it's going to pull against the anchor.
Yeah. Hey, listen to this, Scott. We were coming back in Saturday. Me and Lori was coming back in, and it looked like it was a pleasure, but it was designed. It looked like a sport fisher, but it was a big pleasure boat. Well, they had beached their boat just right past Bird Island, and I don't know if they were drunk or forgot about it, but the tide went out. Listen, I tried it was me and 2 sea tow boats. We all 3, we hooked our boats up, tried to pull them off of that. And then that guy from Sea Tow, he said, do me a favor. We're hollering back and forth. He said, go back up to the buoy marker there. And he said, just barely get in your throttle and try to throw a wake right in front of us so we can try to get them off. So I turned the boat around, throw the big wake, and that was really irrelevant. My wake had done died down by the time it got over to the bank. So anyway, one of the big head boats that were coming back in, I turned my radio back to 69, and they was asking the head boat to turn around there. They'd go see if they could get that big head boat to pull them off because the tide was steady going out, and that boat was beached like hell, dude. You could see it stuck up in the mud. So,
I was at Merle's Inlet fishing, and JR knows Merle's Inlet. It was one of the creeks up in there, and Hell, I was going slow on my flats boat because I'd never been there. I didn't know where the channel was in the creek, and we
Dead
were out
center.
there. Yeah, we were out there fishing, and this guide boat. It was kind of like JR's trophy. I mean, it was deep. He came flying by doing like 40, and I said, "Damn!" And Heather's like, "I said I'm gonna watch this guy. He knows where to go. I'm gonna follow his line." He went up about 200 yards in front of me, and he buried that bastard. You can see that black mud.
Yeah, you see it all the time in Merles, all the time.
I think the saltwater guys are dumber than the freshwater guys.
Well,
man.
you know, you got more money, so
Yeah.
you look at their boat and you're like, that guy knows what he's doing, but no, he just got money.
I don't have no money.
And when I went to, I had to load him up because my little boat couldn't pull him out, and he got in there, and his wife was like, "So you got your cat? So you're a captain? You're a big captain guy." I mean, she was giving me he was trying to tell me how to get out of the inlet without hitting a sandbar, and she's like, "Honey, he made it in here. You didn't."
Oh God.
She was giving him hell.
Yeah,
Well,
and
I'm
you
gonna
do
tell you,
not. You might as well wait on the tide, man, because you don't want to get off in that stuff, man. You'll sink up to your waist.
But I'm gonna tell you, and I'm still learning a lot, especially, down there in saltwater. But just like JR, man, when we were going out to the tower, I told JR, I said, "Man, here, you drive a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna get comfortable." I put on some Kid Rock, got back there in the bean bag, and it's cool as shit, dude. We're going about 35 miles an hour, and the boat will go up, and you can kind of see out over everything. And then when it goes down, it just looks like all you can see is water up on both sides of you. Then you go up, and then when you get into a following sea is cool as hell to me. And I don't understand the theory behind it, but it's like you're running 30 miles an hour, and then and it's like the sea traps you. She's trying to stop you, and you can hear your motor, the RPMs go down, and then all of a sudden when she turns you loose, boom, you're right back at 37 or 38 miles an hour. Then you go back down to 30, and then it catches you again.
If you'll notice, that'll be even worse on a peak moon, too.
That's like the East Pass in Destin. It's like the Gulf is supposed to be calm, but you got this 200-yard wide strip that all the water and the bay goes out of that strip. So if you got an outgoing tide, and they call them standers. It's like the waves that are almost standing out there at the end, and going out sucks. I never go out on an outgoing tide if I can help it. But coming in to me, coming in is so easy to me. You just get on the back of a wave and just maintain it and just surf it. Going out sucks.
I'll tell you, when me and Lori came back in, we came in on an outgoing tide with a southwest wind. And I'm telling you, dude, that inlet was brutal as shit. It took me 10 minutes, JR, to get from the jetties down there. Do you know that first right turn?
Uh-huh.
I was literally running 10 miles an hour. We were just up and down, up and down, up and down.
You just want to be faster than the waves. Whenever you see somebody get in trouble, it's when the wave pushes them or swamps them.
Yeah. It went from there's a guy over there in a gray Sea Arc to there's a guy over there in a yellow Sea Chaser listening to Kid Rock instead of listening to rap music.
Let's say when you go down the intercoastal, like from being freshwater down there in the low country of Buford, the damn tide will change 7 feet. So you think if you go out at high tide and you're fishing in 8.5, 9 foot of water, if you don't pay attention, you can be beached in 3 hours. That's
Keith. Oregon Inlet. They say it's the most dangerous inlet on the East Coast. And whenever you're leaving out of
the one in Miami
when you're leaving out of it, well, I don't know. I guess you'd have to compare graveyards.
But I think Oregon has more boat wrecks. I think Hanover is more rough, like wave tides.
Yes. When you leave out of Oregon Inlet, when you go under that bridge, and you have to, like Scott was talking about how you have this 200. He was mentioning a 200-yard wide channel. Well, you have like a 20-yard wide channel, and you look over to your left, just right there, breakers. You look over to your right, just right off your gunnel, breakers. And you have to know where to go, or you'll hit, because there's a sandbar out there. That's why you're having all those breakers out there. So you have to know where to go, and you can't get off the channel any at all. You're in big trouble, because if you get knocked sideways and one of them hits you over the side, you're in big trouble. So
And from what
my
I-
advice is follow someone.
And from what I understand, the sandbar is always changing. So just because you went out there 3 years ago, that line's not going to be the same.
They were talking about that on Wicked Tuna. I was watching Wicked Tuna last night, and TJ and them was trying to get out. And they wanted to get out for everybody else. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. And, dude, that water was rough as hell.
It's so
said they had to get over the sandbar. He kept saying they had to get over the sandbar.
You got to get over the sandbar. It's so scary. And we did it the first time me and my cousin did it, we were in a 17-foot Bayliner 175 walk through windshield fun boat that we were fishing out of, inboard, outboard, Mercruiser. So we take off out of there, man. And there's this was back. This is back when these sport fishers and everybody was going after, because the stripers were in the ocean. Nobody wanted anything to do with the bay. The bay was child's play. The ocean was where it was at, man. At the 3 mile line, take off 45 miles down the coastline around Duck and Kitty Hawk, and they would be like 1,000 boats all, and you could go down there. You'd be limited out by 9 o'clock in the morning with 30 to 50 pound stripers. So we're going out for the first time on Oregon Inlet. It's a little 17-foot boat, my cousin and I. It's wintertime. It's like February, and we're in like hunting coveralls, because that was like the only coveralls we could afford that was actually insulated. And we're going up through there, and there's these 50-foot sport fishers passing us. So it's not only rough, it's not only dangerous, because you're the sandbar and everything, but we got these boats that are like, we're in their way, and they're blasting by us in this little skinny channel. And we hit this one wave, and it was mostly from the wake from a sport fisher that had just blazed past us. And when we hit his wake, we come out of the water, our prop you could hear our prop getting air when it come out of the water. We went straight up vertical in the air, and the boat started to kind of fall back like that, and it come back down. And I looked at my cousin. I said, man, this is a little too hairy for me, bro. It's a little too hairy for me, bro. And he was like, man, he's like, let's just hang in there. Let's hang in there. And about that time, I looked over to my left, and in the breakers was a freaking Glassmaster, like a 1972 Glassmaster. Probably it wasn't but 16 foot long, with a brand new Honda outboard on it. And these boys, they couldn't have been older than 16, 17 years old. They had their hats turned around backwards. They had that thing WOT, and they was hitting them dang breakers, getting airborne. Wang! Wah-bow! Wang! Wah-bow! And I looked over at my cousin. I said, screw it, man. If they can do it, we can do it. So
well, that's different. I guarantee they were locals. They knew what
they had to be in. Yeah, them boys was about it, boy. They was doing their thing, man. But thanks to them, we toughed it out and went out there. And my cousin caught we actually don't know how much it weighed. When we got back to the scale, there was several that day. Actually, there was a state record, saltwater state record fish caught North Carolina out of Oregon Inlet that day. And we got back to Oregon Inlet, and they had scales out there. You had to put them in a trash can. You had to tear the trash can out, and you put your striper in a trash can and put it on the scale, and that's how they weighed them. And they were closed when we got back. We didn't have no trash cans. So the scale wasn't but a little square, and the fish was 44 and a half inches with like a 36-inch girth. Like, it was a big fish. And he wanted to get it mounted, so we kept it. And we didn't have no trash can to put it in, so we just laid it on the scale.
Wait, it was 44 inches long with a 36-inch girth.
44 and a half inches long with a 36-inch girth.
JR.
Is that not right? Does that not sound right to you?
That's a damn 70-pound fish.
Well, my memory may not be serving me accurately here, but it seems like that's what I remember. I do remember the length.
The big one.
Not 100% sure about the girth, but So, anyways, we put the fish on the scale, and its head and its tail is laying off the scale, and we got a 39-pound weight with the head and the tail laying.
Oh,
off.
that fish! If that was anywhere near that size, that's 50 plus. Easy.
My cousin has it on his wall, so I'll have to stop by there one day and take a little video of it, let you see it. But
Hey,
I
Keith,
think if you look up the size of the freshwater record that was caught a few years ago,
that old man caught it.
yeah, I believe that was about the only striper ever seen with a 36-inch girth. And what did it weigh? 70 pounds?
Yeah. Hey, Keith.
Okay.
Keith Tiefer said, I've been watching Wicked Tuna to get hyped up, laugh my ass off. We're hoping to follow the fleet out. It's just coming back in that scares me.
Coming back in's easy, Keith. Getting out, once you get out there, you got it made.
Well, Keith, my first question is, what kind of boat are you going in?
He's got a Hydra Sport. I seen earlier a Hydra Sport 2024.
Oh, okay.
Twins.
Yeah, I almost bought a Hydra Sport.
Hydra
Well, I'll
Sport's
tell
a good
you,
haul.
you know who my favorites is, and I guess they're not really, I guess you'd say underdogs, but I love the Rasta Rocket. Them guys get it done in that little 24-foot contender or 25, whatever it is. We had a little thing on Facebook last night. Keith said it was a 25 or 26, and I could have swore I heard him say last night that.
I don't know. That captain dude reminds me of Red. Makes me want to slap him in the mouth.
But, hey, them guys get it done, man. I mean, look what they're fishing in, dude. They're out there in a 24, 25-foot contender, whatever.
Oh, they out there trying to get being celebrities, Wes. They're trying to be Facebook famous like you.
Oh, listen, that was weird, dude. Listen, 5 people. I walked in the Striper Kings meeting tonight. I had to go over there and meet Bobby Parker. And 5 different people come up to me and shook my hand. And I don't have a damn clue who they were.
One was H.O.
Who?
You know what we should do, guys, is
One was H.O.
we should at some point this winter, once those stripers, get in the bay, once that water temp hits the mid 40s, is we should maybe take a look at the bluefin tuna and maybe go, take us a little trip out there and see if we can't, fish for them about a day or two, some 20-hour trips and see
catch one on a Hellcat.
I don't think you'd want to hook up with one on anything other than a very stiff pool cue roller rod.
Scott, I wish you would go to the bay with me one time this year. I mean, I know you don't really care for, you say saltwater don't count, but it is awesome up there.
Yeah.
That doesn't count.
Why wouldn't you go, Scott? I mean, you're talking.
I mean, you're pulling eels around a damn bathtub hoping for
Let me ask you this. Have you ever done it?
No.
Okay, well then you might absolutely love it.
I mean, I might. I doubt it.
He's scared he would like it. Okay, what's the difference in pulling an eel around a bathtub and pulling a fucking raggedy, slimy ass gizzard shad around Hartwell and catching 10-pound fish? What's the difference?
I'm not going to pull gizzard shad for 10-pound fish.
Okay, so you're going to pull some slimy ass 12-inch trout for a 30-pound fish.
I mean,
when you can pull an eel for a 50 or 60-pound fish.
I like reservoir fishing. I like freshwater.
I do too. I've always been
Scott
a
Perry,
sweetwater
you like
guy.
saltwater. You like saltwater before I ever got into it.
But I got to admit, when they were in the ocean, that was my favorite fishing. Was when they.
I mean, I enjoy the saltwater that once or twice a year, but it's not really. I don't know. It just don't fire me up.
Well, I love it. I wouldn't give a shit if I ever freshwater.
Oh, there's plenty of people.
Hey,
like
Wes is going to go down there. He is. So we might as well go down there and give him some gas money.
Hell, I done got kicked out of the tuna.
Let him put us on a couple fitties.
I done got kicked out of the tuna trip. You think I'm going to get kicked out of the damn
what's that? Did Mike not know that you was just talking crap? He already replaced you? What the crap?
He already replaced me.
Nah, he ain't replaced.
Hey, dude. I'm replaced.
You better go.
They wanted to get another pretty boy on the boat, so I let him.
Wes told Scott Perry was
going.
He said, "Hey, you want to go? Scott Perry and Mike Walker's going." And I was like, "That's all you had to say." I said, "Yeah, I'm on."
I just want the live video of you and Walker and Wes arguing all the time because you're not gonna have me there to separate you.
You better go, man.
Hell, I can get bigger tuna than that at the damn grocery store.
Yeah.
I bet you that big. It look like bonita.
Hey, it's worth it for the experience.
I
man.
went down the
Hey,
whole
hey.
the whole guide page's page, and the biggest tuna I seen on there is about 25 pounds.
I tell you what's
Yeah.
rough though, Scott. It's
You
going
ain't
down
look-
there and
You didn't
knowing
look hard
that
enough, Barry. I seen some fish over there on there.
Oh, you did? Not on that
No, I
page.
didn't.
You done scanned. You done got off on another page.
No,
That dude's got the smallest. That looks like a damn Hartwell guide trip.
no, not hardly.
Scott, I tell you what's rough is being down there because where we fished in the James, like the James dumps out pretty much right there where we fish in the Chesapeake Bay, where Wes and everybody fishes. So it's rough going down there and catching those stripers, knowing that you can just shoot right up this river right here, just a little ways, and catch trophy catfish.
JR.
I'm like, man, let's go up there, bro. Let's go up there.
There's not many things. I mean, saltwater stripers don't fire me up, but it does fire me up more than a damn slime ball.
Blah 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 blah.
I'm gonna
You're
tell
just
you, though,
jealous
I
it
love,
was James and not you that caught the big one.
Oh yeah,
I
I'm
like
told.
See, I like Chesapeake Bay. It's a total different fishery. It's a totally different style of fishing, and you've just got the chance to catch so much bigger fish. But like
You
Chuck
do. You
Tyler
got a
said-
chance of catching a record. You have a chance of catching a state record out there.
But Chuck said, Wes, he said, a lot of people don't understand. He said, I know it's a little bit more expensive up here, but he said, fuck. He said, I catch 40 and 50-pound fish on a daily basis
Yeah.
out of New Jersey.
It kind of reminds me of a pay lake in a way.
Oh
Oh,
my
you
God.
crazy as hell.
Scott, you crazy.
Hey, Scott's just mad because that North River, he can't take his North
I
River.
think you nailed it. I think that's it, man.
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's what it
I'll
is.
handle that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's
that North
slightly
River
out
one-
of his wheelhouse.
Yeah, that North River probably wouldn't handle the Chesapeake Bay on a rough day for real.
How come I can't not like what you guys like without getting attacked?
Because we know you're full of shit.
We know you're full of shit. And you
No,
wouldn't
I'm
handle
really
it.
not. Like saltwater.
Oh, you'd rather catch a kingfish. That listen, when you're king fishing, you might have to pull. You can pull the drag off of your reel with your.
I love
fingertips, brother.
kingfish.
I done
Because-
figured Scott out. Scott is
I know,
nothing
the
but
mouth is so
he's
soft.
Scott is
Wes,
I don't know what
set-
he used to be. He used to be a tournament angler, worked his ass off, etc. You know what Scott is now, Wes? Scott ain't nothing but a frou-frou cat fisherman.
Yeah.
That's all he is.
Well, I suck.
He likes to
I'm a cat fisherman. I'm the
likes to-
worst.
he likes to go out there. Everything's standardized. He does the
No,
same
that
thing
ain't
every
it.
time. He goes out there. He throws that anchor.
No.
He lets them 7,000 sing.
Yeah, I
And-
throw that anchor when somebody says, "Don't pull boards.
He
Strike
put-
when the iron's hot."
He puts him a dip in and kicks back and talks crap on Facebook.
Ambassador,
That's what
ambassador,
Scott likes to do.
ambassador does not make a reel that'll catch a 50 or 60-pound yellowfin tuna. Maybe once, but twice they don't make one.
So let's say I do go on this trip.
Well, you know you going.
Let's just say I do.
Okay, let's just say you do and you're going.
Will this guide let me bring a 7,000?
Why would you want to?
Because I will drag a 20-pound tuna to the boat with a 7,000.
I
A
don't
20-pound tuna, maybe.
Yeah, maybe
Well, that's
not
the biggest one you're gonna hook up with.
No,
I promise you.
you
I
promised me.
promise you. Unless you take Tennessee scales, you ain't gonna catch one over 35
Now,
pounds.
wait a minute now. Wait a minute. These guys just drew and all of them went.
Well,
were
they
taking-
went on an overnight trip to the oil rigs. They didn't go.
We're not just chasing tuna, but we're going to be out on the oil rigs too, Scott.
Yeah, the inshore ones. You guys don't pay attention.
Well,
Look at the pictures. Y'all are gonna catch 20 to 30-pound tuna. You're going.
Listen, we're gonna have a good time. You set your ass up there. You set your ass up there in the tail race.
Hey,
and all in 20s.
Ain't nothing wrong with going, but just be realistic. You don't have a chance at 100-pound tuna. Zero. Zero.
Okay, well, I must have been looking at another guide's page in.
You must have been. JR, go look. You're tagged.
I thought we were going after 100-pound class tuna.
Not a chance.
Where are we
30.
going?
You're going to Louisiana.
Are we not going out to the hump?
You're going to chase shrimp boats and go to the with chasing shrimp boats, you usually 3 fish on a shrimp boat a day is a good day. So then you're going to go to the enclosed oil rigs and catch 30-pounders.
Hey, honestly, I'd be happy with a bunch of 30-pound tuna on a spinning rod.
What about
Is Bradford on here?
No, you're trying to get him crunk up and he ain't even on here. Bradford's in the bed.
I do my research. I know what y'all are in for.
Well, we're gonna go. You stay up here at the tail race, and we'll go to Venice. And
Look,
we'll
JR's got his thinking glasses on right now. He's looking at the guy's webpage.
I mean, I've never fished out of Venice.
Scott Perry's full of shit.
I've always wanted to fish out of Venice.
Let's make an inside bet. If y'all hit 100-pounder, we'll have.
I would imagine September's.
If you
probably,
don't hit 100-pounder, you pay me. If you hit one over 100, I pay you.
Would not like on into the cooler months be better for? Wouldn't the tuna be larger? Like on into like November, December. I mean, I would think that would be the best time to go out of Venice. I mean, we're going out there in bathwater. You know, those big fish aren't going to be in that bathwater. To be smaller tuna, probably.
Look at JR. Now you're paying attention.
But you know, you never know. You know, September could roll around. We could have an early fall. Start getting some cooler weather.
Yeah, all these 98-degree days. It might be early fall.
Having a lot of rain.
Might get a hurricane in September.
Well, you better be there is all I know.
He's going. He's full of shit. Hey, he did the same shit on the James River trip, remember?
No, not really.
We go into the bay in 2 weeks to try.
Really? He put on that post in that group text, fuck us. He couldn't get no Airbnb. He was out. We could go get our own place to rent. You didn't. So I said, well, fuck it. I'm going offshore. I don't give a fuck. We'll go.
Oh, yeah. I kind of remember
rented me a place in Myrtle Beach. And then I called him and he said, did you really rent a place at Myrtle Beach? I said, fuck yeah. You said we wouldn't go and you wouldn't get us an Airbnb. And
I didn't call you. Call me.
Yeah, I called Scott and I said, hell, I can't get on. I can't rent. He said, you rent. He said, you rent y'all a house. I said, hell, Airbnb, I'm a convicted felon. I can't even get them. They won't rent me shit. They just canceled my damn page.
Dang.
I was on Airbnb one day and the next day it said your account has been blocked.
Crap.
Email us for further something. So I emailed them. They said I was a convicted felon.
JR's looking on that guy's page right now. Look at it.
No. I'm going to, though. Yeah.
Look on it, JR, while we're on here.
I don't know why. I just took for granted we were going after 100-pound tuna.
Well, that's why you got to do research, brother.
Yeah.
Don't believe everything you see on Facebook, JR.
Hey, JR, if you could change Sea Arc and make it a better boat, what would you do?
Sea Arc? Well, I like the Sea Arc Dynasty. They went to a 15-degree hull. I think that you might as well do away with the 3-degree hulls. I don't think that I think that the 15-degree hull is not going to draft any more water than a 3-degree hull. I mean, if it is,
they also went with they made a 22-foot boat. That's what I liked about the Dynasty.
Yeah. And you know, a 15-degree hull is, I think, a move in the right direction. You know, get away from that, because I mean, you're not sacrificing any room. You're not sacrificing any draft.
Why can't they put a solid transom on them boats?
Well, you mean as far as their tallness?
Yeah.
No, the solidness.
They have 25-inch transoms on them.
It's real.
A lot of the like the Cub, the commercial, like Mike Walker has, that has a 25-inch transom, and Wes's boat had a 15-degree hull and a 25-inch transom. So I don't know. I think the 25-inch transoms are adequate. They need to. I mean, it would be nicer to have higher sides.
No, JR, he said a solid transom.
No, I'm at the height. I'm at the height. That's the only thing I got against Sea Arc, because a lot of them I've seen have very low.
Well,
or even put a you know how the
splash well.
Yeah, the splash well, where you could have where the motor's down here and.
Right. So if you do take on some water, it's almost like a what do you call those? Like on the Titanic, they didn't go all the way to the floor of the boats to the water.
And you could have
Whatever.
like scuppers back there or something. It don't seem like it would cost that much to make that boat a lot safer. Or
Right.
not all of them, but the ones with the load. I mean, some of them, the transom's only out of the water that high.
I like your boat, how it has, and they did that on the Dynasty. I'm not sure if they've done that on any of the other Sea Arcs, but they have the, you know, how you have the drainage up on your deck. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's nice. You know, when you're throwing a cast net, you're getting, you know, water up there, you're getting overspray up there. It's not, you know, coming down onto your deck.
I mean, you could actually take a wave over the front if you didn't have that, you could take a wave over the front and, I mean, you'd be in all kinds of trouble.
Yes. Yeah, but
because there's no way for the water to get to the back of the boat. It's trapped up there. So a Sea Arc makes a damn good boat. I like Sea Arcs. I just would modify a few things about one.
Sea Arc took the market, I think, because they were willing to customize. You know, everybody else they're all cookie cutters. You know, all of your Grizzlies are all the same. Your 2072 Grizzlies. I mean, you got a tiller model and a side console model and a center console model. Other than that, they're all the same.
Are Sea Arcs welded or riveted?
They're welded. You could get anything you want. If you want a Ford console, you can get it. If you want shorter deck, you can get it. You can get pretty much whatever you want when it comes to a Sea Arc. They're customizable.
I guess that's the thing I don't like about the Starcraft is a riveted boat. I've never been a fan of a riveted
It's
boat.
riveted, but you know, aircraft are riveted. You know, if you ever flown on a airliner.
Yeah, but aircraft don't sit on top of the damn water.
Well, no, but
I'm not saying they're not rigid. I'm just saying there's
they flex. If you'll look at like your high quality welded boats, you know, once you get up like G3 on up, you know, like North River and
Crestliner,
Lund, you know, these boats are pretty high quality. If you start getting down into your bargain boats like your Grizzlies and your Lumacrafts, you know, those welds, they are known to crack and break and fracture. And I think you need, I don't even understand why they have riveted boats anymore. They all should be welded. I can't believe the price difference. I think that they have their advantages. I mean, look at all of like I told you, I just saw a 63 Starcraft yesterday.
What's the advantage of a riveted boat versus
light? It's light for one.
Flexes.
It flexes. Like if you're, you know how you were talking about the Carolina Skiff, how the sidewalls are coming in and out when you're in shop, you know?
It's kind of nice to have a little flex in a boat.
A little flex, definitely, you know, because if you don't have a little flex, that's where you start to get the cracked welds. But
there's no advantage, Wes.
Well, you know, years ago, and I think just in my time of boating, and as a kid, my grandpa had one. You know, years ago, it was all about your motor. Everybody, you're not really buying a boat. You want to look, you got to make sure you got a good motor. And years ago, I don't think Glassmaster was probably one of the first quality boats that I ever heard of that actually put a lot into their boats. Because, you know, years ago, you was buying a motor, you wasn't buying a boat. Now you're buying a boat and a motor. I mean, you know,
you can always tell the best glass boats. They'll be repowered. If you see a glass boat that's been repowered, then you know that's more than likely that's a good quality glass boat.
And stress cracks. You'll notice a lot of stress cracks and.
Yep, where it's spider webs.
Yeah, I mean all of them do it, but they do it quicker in the lower end boats.
Yeah, like the lower end boats, like my Maverick. Yeah, it was nothing but spider web. Like
what was it? The Sea Fox. You remember the Sea Fox?
The Sea Fox. Yeah.
They would. I mean, 2 years old, they'd be spider crack.
Yeah, poor man.
I thought they made a pretty good boat.
That's Sea Pro.
Sea Pro.
Sea Fox is the cheaper one.
Yeah, but I thought Sea Fox made a good boat. They're expensive as hell.
No.
Look at some of them now.
Well, I mean, they might have changed. The older Sea Foxes were.
You never know. I mean, look at trophies. You know, they were junk when they were Bayliner. Chain reel. I got that Brunswick, baby.
Now my anglers got them spider web cracks like at the transom where the transom dipped down, like right there in the curve. We get spider cracks there, but I mean it was an old boat, so Most old boats are going to have that.
Yeah, mine's an 03, and mine has a very, very little spider web. Like there's like just maybe one place, maybe two places that have
Oh, that's good.
a little bit.
That's really
You'd be
Mine-
surprised
mine's
at the quality of my
2008.
boat.
Mine's a 2008. I ain't seen no spider cracks in it yet.
My boat
That's
is
all.
the floor is
It's
solid
only got
as a
90
rock.
hours on it.
I mean, that's good around the transom and around where especially where they bolt like your top on, where
Right.
you got the bolt holes or your seats. That's where they show up first.
See, all
I mean,
mine is rotor molded. You know, like my seat, my tank, everything, the deck, everything isn't screwed down like it's actually part of the hull. It's
Right.
all molded.
Hey, Scott, I did mean to tell you when you were talking about kingfish earlier. I didn't know this. The guy Keith Wood, you know, I've been fishing with a little bit out there from North Carolina. You know, they're fixing to have one of the biggest
Throw your
kingfish tournaments in
hands
the
up.
United States. It's going to be this weekend, actually. And he said, you know, he said he's going to run down to Georgetown and catch bait. And I said, you're going all the way to Georgetown? He said, there's always bait down there. He said, that's one of the best places in South Carolina to catch bait.
I like George. If I was to move to the South Carolina coast, it probably would be around Georgetown, Pawleys Island.
Now, what bridge was that we were fishing at?
Oh, we were in Buford. We were way below that.
Beaufort.
We were at Broad River Bridge. It used to be world famous for cobia, but cobia population's not what it used to be. Global warming.
Damn.
I
Trump
believe in
did.
climate change.
But yeah, there's no, like I said, I guess there's no perfect
No
boat.
perfect
It's
boat. Mm-mm.
Just
You're
whatever
gonna,
you want.
whatever, yeah, whatever's gonna suit your fishing, whatever you do the most of.
I guess if I lived on the coast, then not all the money in the
What's up,
world. 'Cause
Junior?
I'd have
Junior?
Jordan's boat if I had all. But if I was just middle class on the coast, I'd probably have about a 25-foot center console.
I would have a tiller.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing I like about
I
my
love
boat.
tillers.
It came in handy. We took the grandkids about a month ago to the beach, and you know the sun was up. We got out there.
I gotta plug my phone in. Hold on, keep going.
We were down by Cherry Grove Pier, and I seen this storm coming. So I told her, I said, "Baby, we're not gonna be able to fish." And my grandson, it just broke his heart. So anyway, I was wanting to get back to the inlet. Well, when the storm was coming, it was hugging the coast. It was moving south out of North Carolina, and I went into that storm. And I'm gonna tell you, my granddaughter got sick. She said, "Papa," she said, "I ocean sick." She, bless her heart, she puked all over herself, all over the life jacket, all over Lori. And I tell you, it was raining so hard. It was. I was going about 10 knots, and it was raining so hard it felt like BBs hit me in the face. But with that being said, that cabin down there, them three was in the cabin. They were protected. You know, so that right there, just that one time,
That's
that
so
boat
awesome.
really, yeah. I mean,
It
you
is.
know, they could get down there and get out of the weather, so that was pretty cool.
You know, what's cool about saltwater is I remember I've been married for 17 years. And when I first got married, I bought a kayak, a little sit inside kayak. And I remember I went to the very, 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 very back of Merle's Inlet. I'm talking back. I could see Sam's Corner and I could see the boardwalk or whatever, where everybody's always out there trying to catch shrimp and stuff.
Damn, you was back here in about 7 or 8 miles, wasn't you?
Oh yeah, I was in the very, very back, very, very back. Like on low tide, I mean, it's nothing but mud. So anyways, I put my kayak in, and the water temp's 92. And I'm like, you know, I'm not going to catch anything in here. You know, I was the first time I'd ever really fished in an inlet back that far back in an inlet like that. And I had some menhaden that I had netted from the beach, and I had frozen them. They were real mushy. And
Bonkers. No, you didn't have menhaden. You had bunkers.
Bonkas. Yeah, I had some bonkas. And I had some ready rig floats that I had just bought from Mike Smedley. And this was like, you know, 2007, 2008. So I put these things on a ready rig float, because what was happening was, like, I tried dragging them, and the crabs made short work of them. You couldn't drag more than 30 seconds, your bait be gone. Crabs would just tear it up instantly. So I put them on a ready rig float, and sure enough, man, I started popping like 25 to 30-inch puppy drum back there in 92-degree water. And what I realized was, this isn't a stratified reservoir.
What do you call puppy drum? Black drum?
No, red drum.
Well, 25 to 30 inch ain't a puppy.
No, yeah, they still are considered. They're the upper end of a puppy drum.
That's over slot.
It is. Well, it's 15 to 23 inch is the slot, I think, in South Carolina.
I would consider a puppy drum below slot.
Well, what I consider a puppy drum is they haven't joined the migration yet. These are drum that are still they're almost mature enough to join the migration and start spawning and get out there in the ocean, but they're in the inlet, year round. That's what I consider a puppy drum. And these are the ones that are on the upper end of that. They haven't actually joined the migration yet. They're
30-inch red on light gear is one of the
light
best
gear, man. Well,
things.
actually, I had some mega casts. I had like
the little gold mega cast.
The little gold mega cast on the medium light striper rods, the noodle rods. And man, that was fun, dude, on a kayak. So yeah, I learned how to catch those, and I was catching those when nobody was catching anything. And you can get up in between those oyster beds and that sawgrass. I mean, I don't care if it's peak low tide, you get up in there between the oyster beds and sawgrass.
So I kind of zoned out. You were dragging frozen Manhattan on ready rigs?
There's a lot of different tactics, but that's definitely one is just to paddle your kayak and have a ready rig out the back of the kayak, and you drift them real slow over these holes up in between the oyster beds and the sawgrass. There'll be these little, it might be 2 foot, 2 foot, 2 foot, 2 foot, and then all of a sudden it'll drop to 4 foot. That's where those redfish would hammer them. And I tried all kinds of different tactics. I would take
couldn't you just throw dead bait on the bottom in them holes?
You could. What I learned was a Santee rig works good. Put a big old peg float on your leader, get your bait up off the bottom. I mean, the crabs can still swim up to it, but they don't like disintegrate it, decimate it as quickly. It'll last a little longer. Usually it'll last long enough to catch a fish most of the time, especially
26 to 30-inch redfish on 2500 spinning gear is probably one of my favorite things.
It is.
Ever.
Gosh, that's fun. I've done that too. One thing I have not done is catch a big black drum.
Yeah,
that's what I've always wanted. I've always wanted to catch like a big, like 40-pound black drum. Catch them out at the jetties sometimes.
The nice thing about inshore fishing is you take a lot of that weather out of it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what it's doing. I've been out there before and it come a thunderstorm and it'd be hailing. I remember one time I took my brother-in-law out there in my spare kayak, and we're paddling up through there, and we get caught in a thunderstorm, and it's hailing. And he was like, JR, look. And I looked over there at him, and he was like opening his mouth and like crunching on ice as we were trying to paddle back.
I do like the inshore fishing. I do enjoy that as far as catching a lot of fish, but still fun.
Fishing show right now. You call me back in about 20 minutes, buddy.
Yeah, and you can,
all right, bye-bye.
You can, if you look at that video that went viral out of Cherry Grove, there was that big bull shark that went up into Cherry Grove, and they went to net the fish, and this big 8-foot bull shark just come out of the water. It was amazing.
So the big bull reds have moved into Buford already.
Already?
Really?
Wow.
They're catching them.
Do we need to make a trip down there? I can have them to put the boat on the trailer.
They're catching them now. I mean, it's like the first wave. It ain't really fire yet, but they're in there.
I was watching a thing on sharks the other night, and they said that a bull shark has twice the testosterone as a full-grown elephant. Twice.
Bull sharks have more testosterone than any animal on the planet. Like literally, factually.
Well, I got that video when I had them sharks around the boat. The only shark to approach the boat was the bull sharks. The tiger sharks would stay outside, and but the bull shark would come right up, nose the boat, nudge it, grab the
Yeah.
chum bag.
Yeah, they're
I
the
don't
Mike
care.
Tyson of sharks.
And talking about sharks, I noticed Chuck Tymon's been catching a few. And I know y'all see it. So why don't y'all tell him he's catching trash fish? Y'all like to fuck with me and say I'm catching trash. Are y'all scared of Chuck Timon?
I think
I
I seen that post, and I think the reason I didn't is Chuck said catching these trash shark fish on the post.
the one I posted, I didn't see him say nothing about trash fish. I mean, why is everybody scared of Chuck? Is everybody scared of Chuck? They're scared to say he catches trash fish.
Damn, Wes, you think I'm scared of Chuck? You gonna make me go in there and get blocked?
Yeah, go in there and talk shit to him. See what I
Chuck's got tough skin. He's got tough skin.
Chuck won't block you. He'd cut you out for a block.
I ain't scared of money. That don't impress me much. That's what Shania Twain said.
Woo!
Ain't got nothing to do with money. Listen, he's just a hell of a fisherman. I mean,
well, I mean, it takes money to fish like that, right?
I like when we went down there to Cobia fish, and he's giving us a quick rundown, before we leave out of the.
He's a damn Yankee,
and he's like, you throw it out there, and you'll see the cobia swim up to it, and when he swims up to it, you just let it drop, and he's motioning like, he's doing it perfectly. He's like, you flip the bell, you let it drop, and then as soon as you'll hear him go tick, and then you flip the bell and you just set the hook and you got him. And I'm like, yes, like the way he's describing it, you can tell the dude's just absolutely passionate to the bone.
Oh yeah, listen, like I said, man, he sold some stuff at just the right time and became a fucking gazillionaire. I mean, kind of like Bubba Gump shrimp, but Forrest Gump hit the shrimping industry at just the right time. He's in the right place at the right time.
The hurricane helped him out, didn't it?
Hell yeah. Hey, and that was so cool, man. Scott, where were we going, Scott? Were we going to eat supper that night to that place you wanted to eat? You told me about the bridge. And then and then we looked at the picture, and we actually went over the bridge, where they was filming Forrest running, and he stopped on the bridge, and everybody, and he turned around, he said, I'm through running now.
I'm done. Yeah.
No, I think that's the part where he said, shit. And he stepped in it, and he goes, what? And what happened? He goes, shit happened? He goes, yeah. Shit happened.
And that man, he said that man made a bunch of money on them T-shirts.
Bumper stickers.
Yeah.
All right, guys, it's been a good show. It's 9:43.
We didn't talk about boats, but it's been a good boat show.
We talked about boats. This was an extended version. We went extended tonight.
Hey, Scott, see, when you're on here, he'll talk. When you're not on here, about 2 minutes till night, about 8:58, he'll be like, well, been a good show.
Well, if there's anybody watching, I think I might take the flats boat out fishing in the next couple of days. So don't look for the blue bean anchored up.
Oh.
I'm going to Beaufort in a couple of weeks, so I want to run it a little bit.
A couple of weeks. I know where you're going in a couple of weeks.
No, that's like I'm out on that. Todd Asher's going on that trip.
Venice.
Are you going to take me to Beaufort like I took you?
What?
Are you going to take me down there like I took you?
Took me? You twisted my arm and threw me in a full Nelson.
Full Nelson.
Well, okay. So if
Gen X is showing
you in the full Nelson, are you going to take me to Beaufort?
How long does it take you to get from Little River Inlet to Beaufort?
Well, depending on the sea, I could probably run it in about 2.5 hours. Maybe
on your
3.
boat?
Now, I could have it put on the trailer and pull it down there in about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah. There you go. Boom.
Bull Reds.
Huh?
Bull Reds, they're in.
No, I'd rather catch trash shark.
You'd rather catch a trash shark than a bull red?
I'd rather catch a 100, 200-pound bull shark than I had a redfish.
Damn, I'm surprised you didn't gar fish in Lake Hartwell.
I did.
I wish we had alligator gar.
A gar is a hell of a fighting fish.
I'd love to catch a bull.
But listen, at the end of the day, though, seriously, all shit aside, y'all can say what you want to. I don't give a damn what nobody says about what I catch because it's my fucking money. It's my boat. I'm gonna fish what I want to.
Amen.
But,
that's right.
At the end of the day, everybody says they like to catch this fish. They like to catch this fish because they fight good. They like to catch this fish because they fight good. And it's all about the fight. and like I told Thomas Tyler the other night, none of y'all motherfuckers can tell me there's not one fish in the ocean, not one, that can do what a spinner shark does.
Yeah.
All right,
I mean,
so-
Wes, look at my
Yeah.
videos. That shark video is doing it's number one. Number
I
one
told-
out of 10.
I told you what the
Listen,
deal
listen,
is with.
listen, but there's not one fish that'll jump 10 or 12 to 15 feet in the air multiple times and turn complete circles and can swim 65 miles an hour. It can get up to 200 pounds. There's not a fish in the ocean that does it, and it's a damn shark.
It's
Maybe
the
a tarpon.
it's not a
No,
almost
tarpon
like
is no hole. Tarpon, a spinner shark can swim exactly, well, not exactly, 12 to 15 miles an hour faster than a tarpon.
right.
They can
But-
jump about 6 foot higher than a tarpon.
it's not a sport fish.
Yeah, because it's not quote a sport fish. But if they made it a sport fish tomorrow, everybody would be all fucking over them.
Well, it's 'cause-
every one of them.
You can catch a shark with a limited amount of experience, a limited amount of money, a limited
I
amount of
don't think
equipment.
that's it. I think it's just
I do. It is.
there's more
Look,
of them.
What's
There's
the
more of them, and you have to go further out. You have to spend more money to catch other fish.
what's
God,
the
Well, you
what's
can go in one y'all bay right now and catch anywhere from 40 to 100-pound class tarpon all day long.
Oh yeah, tarpon are garbage. They eat cigarette butts at Key West. I
Yeah,
threw
so
cigarette
there
butts
you
out
go.
there and ate them. The thing about a shark is just not a sport fish. I mean, people want a blue marlin. They want a wahoo. I mean, you got to travel. You got to have the perfect spread, the perfect bait, the perfect hookup.
They're more
Shark
rare.
ain't like that. It ain't about the fight. It's about
There's more of them
it's easier.
because
Well,
there's
I'm
more
gonna
of
tell
them.
you there again. I'm like, as Chris Hovis would say, his famous words. I like the easy button.
Well, I mean, a lot of people that have, especially that have money, they want the challenge. They want the what is that Costa Rica?
Prestige.
Yeah, what's that Costa Rica fish they catch? They only can catch in Costa Rica on top water. Rooster fish.
Rooster
Yeah.
fish.
I mean, it's like it's not. You can't. Billy Bob can't go out and catch a rooster fish.
Well, I mean, I've got money, or I've got a little money. I could go out there and just target wahoo. and
Well, no, I
target
was just
fish,
explaining
Yeah.
the reason that sharks don't have. Nobody gives a shit about them. That's it ain't their fight. It ain't their jumping or their speed. It's the ability.
But, you also you got to admit that all those guys. I mean, you're right. I agree with you. But the big sharks, I'm talking like record-breaking sharks, like
Well,
10,
you'll get
12
respect for a record-breaking shark.
sharks that are over 500 pounds.
Did you see that?
Get those boat side. Not everybody's doing that. I mean, everybody talks all this crap about them. You don't see any pictures of them having a 10-foot, 1,000-pound shark beside their.
Well, no, that's different though. I mean, you're targeting trophy. Anything is trophy
Right.
catfish,
No,
trophy
see,
striper.
that's what I like to do.
I mean, if you're targeting trophy fish, like that guy that caught all them big trophy fish down at off of Buford, he caught a great white and a huge hammerhead, and I mean, he got all over Facebook, went viral. The trophy fish.
So basically, if all Wes would have to do is say, "I'm targeting trophy shark."
Well, you would have to target trophy sharks.
And
You would have
then-
to use whole bonitas and 20-aught circle hooks, and I mean, I think trophy shark fishing is up there with sport fishing.
But and then you think about it though, just like Peter Malick made that comment about sharks. I said, dude, you're flying a fucking airplane with a big ass shark sticker on the side of it. So shut the fuck up.
All right, guys. Well, with that, it's been a good show. I love you guys. We'll see you next week.
No, man, y'all done got me crunk up now. We ain't going nowhere.
We got to go. I got to get up. I got to get up at 4:30 in the morning.
Oh, you ain't the only damn one.
But no, like I said, and there again, we give JR, we give you a hard time about catfishing. That's what you like. And
That's
and
right.
I don't like just shark fishing.
It don't bother me, but
um,
y'all know good and well, I make them catfish look good, bro.
Yeah.
That's what
I
it's
like-
about. As
I
long
like-
as you make them sharks look good, that's all that matters, baby. And you make them look damn good in that yellow sea chaser is all I'm
I
saying.
like trophy anything. Like if it's a trophy fish of its class, I
Said
give
that
you
right.
respect.
JR,
Said that right.
Scott, I'll tell you that second shark that we hooked into out there.
That was a
But
trophy.
you cut the damn line, so I
Yeah,
don't want
Wes
to hear
Wes
nothing
is like,
about
oh man, we didn't fight to do it. We
No,
didn't hold
no,
it
the
back.
reason-
We got to get back.
Yeah, the reason I told Chris to go ahead and just lock it down, she comes up or she don't, is because I was at right below half a tank of fuel That's the farthest I'd ever been in that boat. Not to mention the fact we had a 2.5, almost a 3-hour ride back. And I really was scared we might run out
Scott,
of
we
gas.
still had a half tank of fuel when we got back.
Why
Yeah,
didn't you?
We had
Why
half-
didn't you?
when the boat was planed up, when the boat was set level, we had less than half a tank.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was just worried about, not getting back. And we might have could have got that fish up, but seriously, Scott, that fish was every bit of 600,
listen,
700
whenever
pounds
you go out there and you're targeting trophy sharks,
Well,
it's gonna
eventually
be hours. It's gonna be hours.
eventually you'll break them, though. I mean, and once you do, they're right to the surface.
You're right. I mean, but
Even with
it's
the
gonna
blue
take
salmon,
hours,
they get in the pin where they're done.
When my cousin and I caught the 1,000-pound tiger that time, it was 3.5 hours. We chased it down. We didn't get it boat side till 8 o'clock at night, and we only got it boat side once. And when it went back down, we couldn't get it back up, and he was tired of, so we just went ahead and broke it off. But if you could get a shark, I'm talking 1,000-pound class shark, at least over 600 pounds. You get one. You get an 8, 10, 12-foot shark boat side. Man, the footage that you could get, the video that you could make with that's viral. You're talking viral. You're talking.
All right. Well, you got Chuck is in Hilton Head. Hilton Head is a hot spot for tiger shark breeding ground. And I showed you the video. There's a certain time of year where you can catch monster tiger sharks right off the beach.
Really? At Hilton Head?
Yeah, look up Hilton Head tiger sharks. I mean, it's unreal. They look like great whites when they come up to the side.
Well, Chuck said he did a lot of research before he bought that place down there. And he said, why I bought it? And I said, why? He said, I've got the whole fucking place to myself. He said, most people come to Hilton Head's coming down there to play golf.
I'd rather live in Gastonia than Hilton Head. I hate that place.
I worked down there for 3 months.
I hate it.
Dude, it's a shithole to me. All your signage, if you don't know where nothing is, you ain't gonna see no fucking signs. And at night, when the lights at daylight savings time, when the sun goes down, that whole fucking city's dark.
Save the turtles.
Save the turtles. I tell you, we were working at a Sam's Club down there, and they did a noise decibel thing. What do they call it? Where so much noise is made. Well, they wrote the Sam's Club a citation, said their refrigeration units was making too much noise, and the turtles were not coming up in that area like they were supposed to.
Oh my God! Wow.
So
really?
Walmart paid my buddy Bobby Owens $1.5 million to move all their refrigeration equipment up the side of the building. Had to refit and retrofit everything in there just for some damn turtles.
Oh my God.
They said they could close it down or retrofit it and move all their refrigeration equipment.
That's insane.
Because of the turtles.
Well, if anybody's watching this fishing Russell, go south.
I tell you what, Scott, there was another chance we had for some amazing content when we were coming back. We were actually on our way out to the tower. We saw a gigantic turtle. I mean, it was the size of a car hood.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, Wes, let's go over there. I got my pole. Let's get some footage of it. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Oh, we got time. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. On the way back, we see it again. I'm like, Wes, there's that turtle again. You want to stop? Get it? Oh no, we got to get back. Oh, that's half. Okay.
Well, I thought we went out there to film fish. I didn't know it was out there to film no big ass tortoise.
Yeah, it was cool.
The coolest thing I seen in Destin one time was what is the thing that looks like a stingray, but it's like 20 foot wide? Manta ray?
Oh yeah, manta ray, yeah.
Yeah, we seen one of them at the surface. That was almost like seeing a whale. That was pretty cool.
That is cool.
I like the flying fish when we were going, of course, when we were going out. Well, when Ben Scott was going out, when we were going out to the Betsy Ross, Scott said, look over there, look to your right. And I looked down, and there was like 5 spotted dolphin just swimming with us. Just, I mean, that was cool.
Y'all were pretty far out then.
Yeah. And then when me and you went out, when we all went to the tower, you remember how the flying fish, it's just like all of a sudden the whole ocean comes to life.
That's a good feeling, you start a little dopamine comes seeping out in your brain whenever you start to see the
flying fish is one of the main forages. So shouldn't y'all fish where the flying fish is?
We stopped and put out we trolled a little bit.
You keep on going, they get more plentiful. So, all right, guys, it's I mean, as much as I'd love to do a 20-hour soak on the show here, We got to go, bro. Good
All right.
night, guys. Good night, everybody. Thanks for
All right,
stopping
man.
by. We'll see you next week on Real Fisherman. Good night, Scott. Good night, Wes.
Good night. See y'all.